Good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
Let's take a journey.
Ray, Ruth, real talk and reactions with G.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Ocean Caldera, 207.
Ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a slower pre-market again. We kind of talked about that, I think, yesterday. How it's just slowing down a little bit. It is like earnings mania today. Every company under the sun is reporting earnings. So I think a lot of eyes are just focused on those big earnings plays, which is to be expected. For us, though, I got a couple stocks on watch, and I'll go through them first, and then we'll let Tuohey come over. IXHL reported this data. We've been talking about this data for 2 weeks or so at this point. They had till the end of July. They really squeaked it out until one of the last possible minutes here. Now, with that said, I know probably a lot of people are watching this from multi breakouts, and there's a chance. I'm not going to say zero, but I do know that they filed a massive offering over here. I want to say it was something like $50-60 million, something like that. I can go look. And I don't think they used it, is what I'm saying. So if I was them and I had all this money just sitting on the table, I'd pick it up. So I'd be selling a bunch of shares. So we'll see if that is the case. I wouldn't be surprised at least to see a pop maybe to like the 150s or so after the open. Kind of what we do after that is going to determine, is this a sell the news event? Everyone knew about this data. It's not a surprise. Are they tapping their ATM, or is this thing actually going to run? And only time will tell. So this is definitely going to be one of my top watches here, and we'll just have to wait and see how the market reacts to it. BGLC is the top gapper today. Low float, mediocre news, former runner. Right now it's pretty much just, it's gapping up into some of this resistance, but it's still got some ways it could go. It's more or less just following like this trend here. So we'll see if that trend holds and what is in store post open for this one. Again, it's already gapping up 80%. I think we're going to see probably a crazy runner at some point today. That's my feeling, because there really hasn't been much pre-market. We got REPL, which I don't love this. It's a larger company. It had a huge gap down on like a failed drug news, and this is kind of just a bottom bouncer. So I do feel like probably, and it's on the second day as well. So I feel like probably low odds of some continuation on this one, but it is the second highest gapper. So we're gonna keep watching. Ocean says, "Are you looking to short?" I'm not looking to short REPL yet. I kind of want to see if this can go higher. It is a big gap for this stock, but it's just kind of, again, grinding. It doesn't feel like overextended or anything. Those are my main watches. I know Bryce likes VWAV, MCVT. Bryce, you want to talk about those?
Yeah, I liked VWAV, and then this pre-market action just kind of ruined it a little bit. I mean, now we're gapping down. What's that? 10, 15%.
Yeah. It
looked good, and then it didn't. And, that's unfortunately sometimes the way pre-market can work. MCVT, I don't hate it. I don't love it either, though. My thought being is this: $6, I think, is a pretty key level here. This 630 area, basically where it's at right now. And if we're going to hold, call it 650 just for fun, keep it simple. If we're going to hold 650, I could see this thing trying to make another leg up higher. I think shorts kind of needed that area to get out, because that's where a lot of shorts were stuck in from. What is that? Friday? Is that Monday or Friday? I don't even know.
It would be Friday over here.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of shorts that are probably stuck in from roughly that price. So if we hold there, I'll keep an eye on for a long. Really, what I'd like to see is some consolidation kind of out of the gates here. VWAV, if it can break and hold over $8, different story. But for now, I think $8 is going to be that key level to keep an eye on for a long, if you ask me. So I'm not going to really pay too much attention on it under 8. Maybe a short, but I don't really love the short idea on that either. Just 'cause I think, if anything, today's probably a little bit of a choppy day. So yeah, I'm with Matt on IXHL there. A little bit more bearish on it than bullish. Could it break out? 100%. Anything is possible. But the fact that they released good news, had a fake breakout during pre-market, and then sold an unfathomable amount of shares. I mean, they traded 11 million shares on that 1 minute candle when they released the news at 8:30. Got the breakout and then just completely stuffed it. I don't love that personally. But again, I'm not going to try to go in with too much bias, because if it does start breaking out, Steven made $1 million off of BGLC this morning.
I love Monopoly money.
Congratulations if that's true. If not, me too. I also made $1 million.
KBL says BGLC is a chat pump, kind of ruined it. Yeah, I agree. I know there's a couple chat rooms kind of buying this thing up, pumping it. Again, we're kind of just testing this trend. It's not my favorite trade. It doesn't have the best news I've ever seen in my entire life. It's got some overhead resistance, but honestly, it's pretty much the only runner. So if shorts get a bit over aggressive, then yeah, it definitely could squeeze. So kind of no touch for me the first 5-10 minutes of the day. I just want to see what it does. Because it is a low float. As you know, low float, high danger. High reward, high danger. I just don't like the big danger.
Question from Omega. I like the question. When you say you'd be out if it drops below X level, are you setting a stop a little above or below that level? So first of all, if I'm in the trade, I'll probably be setting a stop. If I'm just looking at it, though, if I'm saying I wanted to stay, so for example, VWAV, right, $8 key level, I'm not even in that trade right now. And it's very dependent on the chart. Sometimes I'll use a hard stop if it's a wildly key support level, like that wick is held 3 or 4 times. I wouldn't want to see underneath it, kind of thing. My rule of thumb, I think Matt can kind of agree. If I think the trade is ruined over or under X level, I just want to be out of it. So I'll set a hard stop. But if I'm in maybe a little bit smaller size, want to give it some wiggle room, I might give it a little bit more leniency and see how it acts if it dips over or under, and then act accordingly from there.
I like it.
But yeah, we got 8 minutes left. I think BGLC, just keep eyes on it. Like Matt said, I mean, a lot of resistance in that kind of $9 level area where it stuffed pretty hard pre-market this morning. We'll see what ends up coming out of that, if anything. I knew BGLC seemed familiar. I was looking at this for a first green day a few weeks ago. I was like, why do I know this? Like, why does this stock seem so familiar? That's why. SGD also, like, maybe something to keep an eye on. Day 2. I really don't like day 2s on the long side, especially. So we'll keep an eye on it. If it can get over and hold $2, but they too have the ability to sell, I believe, through 165 or 163, 162. So
yeah, SGD.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of warrants. Doesn't mean, again, that they're going to use them, but this is one actually that's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't exactly know how I want to trade it, but 160 was yesterday's high, 162, rounded. So far, we're above that. It's just been downtrending a bit all pre-market, kind of wild after hours action. I didn't see any news come out. So definitely could be a squeezer. So, I mean, that's a good call to add that one to the list, I think.
Yeah.
BGLC is kind of breaking this trend. We'll see how much that trend actually matters. Not a big trend line trader, but that trend was pretty obvious. So,
yep, I'm with you there. Yeah, we'll take some questions, I suppose, before the market opens. But you guys basically have our plans there. Can you explain warrants? It's basically just a price at which a company is able to sell shares. So if the warrants for SGD are at $1.62, the price of the stock needs to be at $1.62 in order for them to sell those shares. They can sell higher, but I believe they cannot sell lower, and it depends on the warrant structure.
Someone says SGD was moon market pick. That makes sense why it ran after hours. I did feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. He's a trader. Some might call him pumper. Up for interpretation. He was the one who did PLRZ like last week as well. And PLRZ went on that pretty good run, pretty much for no reason. Again, he was just kind of pumping it. So that is good to know. Makes me a little cautious on the long side since there's not really a good reason for it to take off.
Pumped up. They've got warrants to sell at yesterday's high a day. It definitely would make me want to stay cautious on the long.
Kashig has a question, Tradefunder. Why they increase overall drawdown if you make profit? Shouldn't it stay static so you get a cushion if you make profit? I think you answered yourself with the question. Like, so it doesn't.
Think about it this way. Okay. The drawdown right now is 37.50, and then you make 5,000, and then the drawdown is 87.50.
Right. So why did they increase the drawdown? Because you then have a cushion, which is the second part of your question. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Vlad says, Bryce, what do you mean by big resistance at 9 on BGLC if the float is only 1 million? Well, resistance is resistance regardless of the float size. Can you hop onto the daily chart there, Matt, real quick?
Why do I wear my hat backwards? Because I'm cool. Just ask my mother. I don't know. because
Matt, your mother might say you're lame.
So I don't need to block the sun.
Your mom might say you're lame.
She might. What were you saying, BGLC?
Yeah, can you go on the daily chart real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we go to the big run day that traded 40, 50 million shares, the low of day on that was $8.83, roughly $8.93, $8.83, roughly $9. That's the most volume it's traded. It's now under that level. And so that low of day is going to act as the first major resistance level. We saw that play out here in pre-market where it stuffed the $9 area quite hard. Again, it's especially what I will give you is the lower the float, the less likely it is to work to the T, to the penny. It's gonna test the level. But yeah, that's the major area that I'm seeing to start. She wouldn't let you wear your hat backwards if you lived in her basement. Matt, you did live in her basement for a while. Did she let you live? That was when you were in high school. Did she let you wear your hat backwards?
Yeah, my room was in the basement.
It's like psychological resistance. Nope, it's like dollar resistance. I wouldn't call that psychological. That was just the low a day from the big run day. All right, we're about a minute away from the market opening, so probably, unless Matt sees anything else here.
No, last comment I got is FOMC meetings today. It's at 2 p.m.
Good call.
Eastern time. Doesn't affect small caps a ton, but again, like with all the earnings today, with FOMC meeting today, don't be shocked if today's just a bit slower. There's just a lot of big news announcements, all right? And when there's big news announcements, it takes traders' attention away. So.
Yep. All right, we've got 1 minute until the market opens.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if IXHL at least tries to halt up. It's put in some wacky, funky action. Remember yesterday? Halt down, halt up, I think. Yeah, so like it's a wild stock, so we'll see. I think BGLC is going to be the biggest mover come open. Time will tell.
I would love to see that thing run into 9 and see how it can act from there. Would love to see that.
What do we got? A couple seconds?
Literally a couple of seconds.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is.
SGD is the only green stock on my watch list currently. I guess IXHL too. I forgot about that.
So far, IXHL just some selling. I was kind of hoping for a bounce, honestly, because it's hard to chase it down. SSR's on this stupid stock, so.
Yep. BGLC said, nope, we're not going to do anything fun. SGD popping into VWAP here. All right, IXHL, little wick there down to 120. See if we can bounce.
Would I dip by BGCL? Not out of the gate. I want to see it prove itself.
It would really need to prove itself, I think, because again, like there's a lot of things about the action that I think leans more bearish. And you know, my saying always is, you know, the best longs are a failed short, but right now I think it leans more on the bearish side. So it would need to prove itself that it doesn't want to be a short before I get there and want to long it.
Jeff says, "Are we live?" Jeff is the Sky Blue boss. You tell me.
Depends. Are you colorblind?
Maybe. OP thoughts. So far, it's just too far off highs. Like, I mean, it's got to run, what, 60% to get back to highs? That, to me, is not the best situation.
SGD, really hard slam there. Oh, it's holding.
I wasn't even watching that one, huh? My eyes are on both BGCL and IXHL, trying to see what the dips are going to do.
BGLC, if this thing gets through that high a day there, 810, that could be fun.
IXHL is testing lows right now, so breaks
really
lows. I think the floodgates might open a smidge.
Really weak. BGLC, that one looks fun. I like ones that look fun. Oh, IXHL trying to go through low a day here.
Yeah, it's just got SSR on it, which is making it rather difficult to trade.
Yeah, unfortunately, really tough to chase.
That 120 ask is madness.
And they just keep moving it down. Oh, my goodness.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start slipping floodgates open. Goes to $1 here soon.
MCVT low
very
volume
strange with SSR.
I was saying MCVT low volume so far, but it is. Well, all it needed was to hear its name, and then it decided to drop 30 cents a share. So never mind. I cancel my point. BGLC held that $8 level. This could get fun. Halting up through 840. All right, next really key level here is that $9 area out of the halt.
And here it goes. Like I said, they won't be surprised to see this thing slip to $1. About to go red on the day.
That's unfortunate. Never really gave a clean opportunity to short. Definitely not a long. Knock on wood. We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, they're going to defend the red green, I'm sure, but
SGD broke low a day there. That was a pretty hard failure through VWAP. Lot of volume at that 110 level.
IXHL.
Yes.
Yeah, red green. Not entirely surprised on that one. Question is how far do we bounce now? VWAV little perk. Not the best chart, but
yeah.
OP is starting to curl up, which is nice to see. If it builds a little level of support there, definitely could give us a trade.
BGLC, I think, is the one that excites me the most right now.
Yeah, how long we got left on that halt? A little over 2 minutes. A little over 2 minutes. SGD testing that support. REPL pretty much dying off, but we'll see if she recovers. VWAV's interesting if we get closer to that $8 level.
Yep. VWAV, in order for me to want to trade this, I'd really need to see some kind of consolidation.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
If it just goes, then it just goes.
MD says, any way to know the opening price after the halt? Depending on what broker you got, it will tell you like indications of where it's going to open, but they're not usually super accurate to like 10 seconds before it's done.
Right. IXHL, was that just a lower high there? Kind of a weak lower high. Couldn't make it up to VWAP.
Yeah, not really doing much.
No.
To be honest. Just weak. I am short a little bit, everyone. I think I said that at the beginning from like 140. But I want to be careful before getting too big in case we like ramp up and test. So we'll see. Basically, this trade, I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end, is almost a carbon copy of TNXP from like 7 months ago. And I'll go over that chart in a little bit. Eric says, why is it not a long? Eric, because IXHL, I mean, data was released that everyone and their mother knew about. It is a sell the news event. They have a fairly large ATM that is still available. They actually just upped it. To me, that's a lot of signs of a short.
ATM, by the way, stands for at the market offering. So they don't have a specified price they have to sell their shares at. They just have a certain amount of money that they are allowed to raise through that, and they can sell it at whatever share price they'd like.
8 seconds here.
BGLC looking like 860 open is kind of what we're looking like here. We'll see. Yeah. Oof. Not the open you'd want to see.
They caught it though, but yeah, I mean, this is a tough one to trade. Low floats. I'm not a big low float person.
They did catch it. Yeah.
So low
IXHL,
floats, I
they
like
did not
after the first like 15, 20, 30 minutes. Because that first 15, 20, 30 minutes on low float is just like madness. You know?
Anyone's best guess.
Yep.
Yeah, they're really defending that $8 level.
VWAV halted up at 825, dude. Just straight up.
As I mentioned, if it just goes, it just goes.
It's just going. There's a big ask there on BGLC, and they just ate it all. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing try higher. Destiny says VWAV whoop whoop. Yeah, good trade. I'm not in that one. A bit of a tough entry, but I mean, if that was your focus, you nailed it. Jump. SGD looks pretty crappy. Just every bounce is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Oh.
Yep, there goes BGLC pushing higher.
Can it hit 9? Can it hit that $9 key level? $9 is the halt level currently on BGLC. So if it tries to push through 9, it should theoretically halt up.
REPL just slowly dying. I'm just going to throw an alert over the open price and close that one out. SGD, there we go. See, just snapping down. Very clearly, just couldn't bounce at all. So, I have 2 SGDs up, huh? MCVT, not a lot of volume here yet today, but over 7 on that one gets pretty interesting. Eric's asking, how do I get my offering info? Honestly, typically like Google stocks to trade between the two. I'm sure you can actually even go to ChatGPT and ask these days.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
You could probably be like, what's going on? And it'll tell you.
Remember back in the day when you had to learn how to read filings? Those are days of the past.
Filing's the worst. There's nothing more boring than a filing. This is trading a lot of volume and not going higher, which is very, very interesting here, BGLC.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
But it's not going lower either. That's why low floats, man. They're just 50-50.
But right, no, it's like every time it dips, it gets soaked, and then every time it goes up, it also gets soaked in the opposite way. Like it just,
I got no confidence buying this because yes, it could go $2 higher, but it very easily could go $1 lower. Like
or $2 lower or $3 lower. Like it's one of those ones where unless it sets a really clear indication, like for me personally, I think what I'd want to look for would be, but then again, like for a long, I almost think you have to follow that like 9:45 rule, maybe even 10 o'clock. Like give it time to set up, give it time to show that every time it tries to break down, it wicks back higher. As a matter of fact, I actually took a long pre-market on it this morning for that exact reason. And that's exactly what I was looking for. It was as soon as it was trying to break underneath $6 and it just couldn't do it, and it started reclaiming. That's when I took the long. Right now, we're not really getting that. We're getting a much more 50-50 action.
yeah, BGCL curling over now.
It's still not like falling apart, you know? VWAV opened up, pushing 875.
Very nice. Still not a ton of volume on that thing, but overall very nice.
Yeah. More volume there, 300,000 shares that minute, which is typical after a halt. Again, for me to get interested, I wanted to see this break and hold 8, and this is kind of that break of the $8 level, so we'll see how it reacts from here. So far, reacting well.
Does the FOMC shake the OTC market? No, it shouldn't. Unless maybe like Fannie Mae, which obviously is like mortgages, highly sensitive to interest rates. Man, VWAP. Just go, go, go.
Yeah, strong. Very strong.
I covered some of my IXHL because it's just flattening out. I was kind of hoping it was going to flush, but I'm definitely looking to short some more if we break the lows here. BGLC looking like curling over, but also not breaking down. So that one could definitely low float swipe back on us. Wouldn't be shocked.
Which one?
BGLC. It's just not slamming down.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's over.
You have nice move. Volume's picking up now finally, which is good to see. Bryce says, can you let us know your entry point? Yeah, we're pretty transparent about these trades here. I've been talking about IXHL since we went live.
And moreover, you gave your entry price for that one.
See. I'm not long VWAV. The only trade I'm in is IXHL, the short side, which, like I said, I covered some, but still got a piece left. My average is like 42 or something, way up here. For the longs, definitely OP's getting interesting, but it's just kind of grinding up. I want to see a little sideways. And then VWAV is just straight up. So kind of the same thing too.
The longer MCVT holds here, I don't love the volume on it, unfortunately, is a big part of the problem here, but it is holding that $6 level like I was hoping for. Right near that 650. Actually, I think I said 630, and that basically held to a T. If you start curling through the 660s, I'd consider a starter position, but it's tough when they don't. I mean, it's traded like only a couple 100,000 shares today, so that makes the trade inherently a little bit riskier.
IXHL starting to break down some more, which is good to see.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
REPL
go.
came back, huh? We got an
Which
alert
one?
on that? Oh, no. It hasn't come all the way back to my alert, but it bounced.
Good old REPL.
We'll put it back up, see if it can get any strength. See a couple people talking about XBP. Oh, wow. Just literally straight up, huh?
BGLC holding.
Like I said, this didn't really slap down, so it doesn't feel like it's over.
No,
Again,
no. That's
high risk trade, in my opinion, but.
And the problem is, I think high risk with like a moderate reward. I just don't think, because the resistance, I don't think there's enough of a big edge there. It could work. You get 2, 3, maybe $4 a share, but at the risk of just getting slammed on. There, SGD lower. I think SGD is officially donezo.
MCVT is trying to curl. The volume's pretty crappy.
I know, that's again like
that's the problem.
That's one of those ones where all it takes is one seller and it's down to 620.
UF would love to see it go sideways. Just a little for me. Just a little. Like, you're giving me absolutely nothing to risk on. Absolutely nothing.
Case in point, all it takes is one seller for it to drop 30 cents a share.
Which one?
Why those are really tough until they get volume. I mean, now the biggest volume of the day is just a massive sell candle.
Oh, yeah, MCVT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys millionaires?
Yes.
I've made millions. That is true. IXHL just double bottomed literally at low a day. So we'll see what this bounce can do. Looking weak, but SSR's on it, which is the most.
I was gonna say definitely not the most surprising thing.
Yeah. VWAV just straight up, literally giving us nothing.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I'd love an entry on it, but I just don't think, at least right now, it wants to give us one.
Hey, Wingstop's on my scanner. That's a huge company, huh? Look at that. Wingstop's up 26%. Maybe I'll go buy some Wingstop later.
Is that Wing? Yeah. Wow. Nice earnings.
BGLC looks like snapped a bit.
Yep, it sure did. We'll see. So this is an area here, right, where this is where things could get interesting if it starts to hold these levels in an area where if you're short, you'd expect it to completely fail. Then maybe we offer a long opportunity. But for now, that chart looks kind of crappy. I mean, that $9 resistance area really to a T, played out to a T there. IXHL retesting that 110 after trying to bounce off of it.
Crack it for daddy.
Yeah, I know at this point. Unfortunately, I couldn't get nearly as much size as I wanted to, but
MD says, would I buy VWAV at 10:01? No. I really would not. So,
We appreciate the directness.
no. I mean, like, honestly, it's just being tough because it's just grinding straight up. And unless you got a really early entry, it hasn't really given us a secondary entry.
Right. So yeah, the big thing with, I mean, really any trade, but when they're just going straight up, when is the last time you saw a stock go straight up into and then broke out and then that was it? Almost never, right? Like it's a lot better if you're really convicted on it to wait for the dip or wait for a consolidation. I personally like consolidation, but like just think back to the times that you've seen a stock that literally never went down.
Watching IXHL pretty closely because for those following my shorts, it broke low day by a penny and cannot go any lower. So that's not really like what I want to see.
Well, I'm also seeing 108 is low day.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So we're still hanging above a penny there, but
yeah, it's not concerning yet, but just walking through my thought process on that one.
Well, and to kind of double down on that idea, right? You would expect if they're using their ATM that they don't really care. They're just going to be selling. I mean, it's still up 600% from where it came from.
Yeah. VWAB just on a mission to the moon with no pullbacks. XPB, pretty wild. Up 100%. Is there news on this thing? Oh, there is news.
BGLC just gave out low day.
IXHL going for lows finally now. Real lows, not Matt Monaco. I was wrong lows.
Can you imagine you covered your whole position because you thought low day was actually 110?
Yeah. Red green's also 107. So
yeah, this is that very, very key level here. 107. We'll see how that acts. MCVT doing nothing. 107 gave out. IXHL.
VWAB's still just giving us no entry here. And XPB, same thing. Like, if you want chase and buy, be my guest. But it's not a long-term successful strategy.
Yeah, the problem is every now and then it works. That's actually the problem with it. And then you feel like a hero. IXHL going for a $1 break. I have not covered a penny yet.
Oh, big dog. I haven't covered actually either. Well, I covered, then added back.
Because you give out $1. $1 make you holler.
Dollar, make me holler.
Make me holler. Give me 98 cents and I'll cover my first share. 99. Come on. Do you want to do 98? Oh,
It's
what
gonna It's going to start trading weird around.
What a joke. It heard me.
Well, it goes from the penny spreads to the 4,000ths whatever spread. So it's going to trade different for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. BGLC trying to put in a mean wick right now after its third low of daybreak. IXHL, I can't say I'm that surprised by that outcome.
Right around $1. Dollar is just one of those levels, everybody. Psychological key. VWAV, just unbelievable.
VWAV, yeah, I know. That's very impressive. Very impressive.
Dollar, make me holla.
I'll try.
BGLC, I'm going to throw an alert over this. This is another one I think is probably likely done. Focus on VWAV. OP, yeah, just more or less what I expected on that thing. When they run up so much, I mean, you got to keep in mind, this is, tiny stock, but ran from 23 cents, went all the way down to 18. What's that, a 30% pullback or so? It's then got to run that much to get back to highs. It's just a tall order.
IXHL could not hold that bounce back down to $1.
Open up the floodgates.
I know.
Send it to 80.
So this is, and another thing too. It's like we've talked about this a couple of times. I don't know how often, but if you look back, if you look at the history of this stock, it's kind of known for doing this. I mean, every time it's tried to gap up or it's set in a big wick to the upside, like the day after on May 15th, it just drained out to literally new lows. So it's sometimes, oh man, they really don't want to let this thing fall much further than $1 now, do they?
It just changes the way it trades under $1, man. Yeah. It was the same way on the way up. Don't you remember how weird this was?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. It literally felt like it turned into an OTC stock after the dollar breakout.
What's going on here, keyboard? Not working for me. There we go.
VWAV, interesting here. Now we're getting that pullback. Now I think this is a stock I keep on watch for a little bit here.
This feels very toppy, XPB, at least short term. We'd love our feedback. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is a trade that just went straight up. It's very similar to VWAV, which now is starting to pull back, which is good. VWAV's got the potential. It's an IPO, right? This is the IPO one, right? IPO, AI defense news. It's the recipe for a huge run. I don't think if this catches a bid, it continues to hold up. I think this could definitely go all day. So I'm not in a rush. I'm okay being a little late and getting a bigger move later. But same thing on VWAV as we saw on XPB, just straight up, right? Unless you were prepared, you wanted to stab in immediately. This thing didn't really give us a very clean entry. And that's fine. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait for that entry to come.
Patience is a virtue.
XPB, same thing. I don't really know if this one's going to run or not. Not a clue. It's kind of a terrible long-term chart. But if it does, it's very simply just going to pull back. It's going to go sideways for a little bit, and it's going to break out later. Make an easy trade. Don't make life hard. Don't make life hard.
Yeah, the more you can simplify your trading, generally speaking, the better.
So this is my heart's pounding. Why is your heart pounding? If your heart's pounding, you're doing something wrong. Trading is zen. It is not supposed to be stressful.
Basically, if your heart is pounding, there are a couple of things. Either one, you probably have too much size. Two,
Who's snoring? My dog, by the way. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to wake her up. She's like little and snores so loud. That's Bryce.
Oh, Ella. Have you ever considered, Matt, you don't ever get into a heart-pounding situation just because Ella's always there hanging out with you?
Maybe. She's just zenning me out.
Yeah, yeah. MCVT, there's that one seller. Again, all it takes is one seller to do that to you.
What kind of dog? She's a King Charles Cavalier, so she's a little thing. All right, IXHL. Let's see what this bounce does here.
Make it interesting, why don't you?
Went red. Dollar was a pain in the butt.
I could have told you 98 cents was going to be the low, as that is where my cover order was.
Relatively low. You know, what's interesting here is how much volume traded under $1. Like very, very notable volume compared to on the way down and honestly the way up as well.
Yeah.
VWAB strong. It was strong. Again, let's see if it pulls back. This is one that I think could, again, go for quite some time. I'm not really in a rush. Let it pull back. Let it consolidate. Let it break out in a couple hours. Let it be a good trade. Someone says PSQH is ripping. That's relative. It's moving. I wouldn't use the word ripping. Didn't you say last week you have to take two Xanax before the big short? I think I said after. Afterwards, it's like a floodgate. Everybody calling me out. That's fair. I can take it. If I can dish it,
I was going to say I've definitely heard.
I can take it.
I've heard some quotes from Matt Monaco before, so there's a level between zen and heart racing, though. I don't know if I'd necessarily describe you as zen.
Focused in the zone.
Focus. I like focus. That's a good word.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through some of these questions. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, I'm just getting to read these too. I've got some good ones.
Why don't you get started then? I'm gonna run through them. I didn't see all the comments earlier.
I'm gonna start here. I'm starting late, but I think this is a good starter question for us to. Whoops, wrong one. What is your number one setup that built you consistency with your early years of trading? I think that's a good question. Really quick, I'll just go over one of my early ones. And truth be told, that setup doesn't necessarily fully exist anymore. But basically, back when sub-dollar breakouts. So stocks on the NASDAQ that were trading under $1, that would go sideways, consolidate, and then break out. Honestly, a lot like IXHL, right? Like before today. But like the last few weeks, that was a big time setup for me. That honestly got me to my first, roughly $50,000 to $100,000 in profits.
Yeah, so I want to talk about my IXHL trade. All right, this is, as I said, a carbon copy of TNXP. Like, and this happens over and over again. Let's go back. Or TXNP. No, it's TNXP. I forgot they did a reverse split. TNXP, go back, take a look at December 17th. This big red candle, all right? On StockTrade, I can go back. I can look at December 17th. All right, boom. What happened on this day? They were expected to report data. What's going on with IXHL? They were expected to report data, right? Same exact situation. Got halted pre-market, gapped up, went crazy. They also had a big offering as well, like literally the same chart, ran up. And at this point, again, they've done a reverse split. So I think at the time it ran up to like $2. Again, you got to adjust it. It's for 100. And then it closed at the day at 30 cents. Now, this was more toxic than IXHL. But if you look, what happened? Same run up, same data as expected, same halt pre-market, same run of 100% almost after the unhalt. Hence why I started shorting here. Why? Because my entire thought process was we were going to do the exact same thing as TNXP. I'm just following this chart, just doing exactly what it did. And so far, so good. This one was a little weaker out of the gate, but I mean, I'd say we're still pretty weak here. So,
yeah, well, that's just the thing. Wait, can you go back to TNXP that day?
Yeah.
I mean, very similar though, in a way. I mean, it's like you said, a little weaker. It did have a couple halts down, but basically, really all we saw, tried to push in the morning, couldn't do it at all, couldn't break that high, made new lows, tried to bounce back, made new lows. Like IXHL, it's still early. I think if this thing breaks down again under $1, we could be looking at a very similar setup. Yep. I will say this one's trying to hold red to green a little bit better.
Yeah, it is. I downsized, like I said, around that buck area with you. Now we'll see what the rest holds for us here. VWAP doing a good thing, just going sideways. I'm just going to let it chill. Come back to that trade later. And I think those are most of the questions, honestly. VWAP's the main watch I've got this afternoon. REPL's kind of going. I wouldn't say it's like great. It's okay. It's just a larger company. It's going to be more grindy. It's unlikely it's going to rip. XPB, there's our pullback. Let's again see how that thing holds. But I mean, that's pretty much my day here. So with that said, I'm going to talk about Tradefunder. And I know there's some Tradefunder questions in the chat, which we will get to. All right. But for those of you who don't know, the reason we're doing this every day is StockTrade is a great partnership with Tradefunder that is making all of this possible. All right. What is Tradefunder? Well, the biggest problem that most traders have is they don't have enough money to get above the pattern day trader rule, especially when they're getting started. Or maybe they're nervous because they have to risk a lot of money and they got to pay bills, right? So Tradefunder is a way to get an instantly funded trading accounts above the pattern day trader rule. So that way you don't have to deal with those annoying 3-day trades a week. That way you don't have to go out there. You don't have to risk your own money because they're going to fund you. Now, what's the catch with this? Well, you still have to open an account with them. But, right, here's how it works. With us, thanks to this great partnership here, Tradefunder, on the website, if you go to tradefunder.com, you'll see it's $1,400 to open an account with them. With us at StockTrade, it's only $800, so $600 savings right off the bat. So shout out to them for making that possible. And with that, what you're going to get, if I scroll down here, is you're going to get a fully funded trading account with $25,000 in it. Now, that's not like your money. You can't just withdraw $25,000. That's money to trade with, right? So that is your money to trade with. And you're going to actually have intraday buying power up to $100,000. So you get a very, very healthy account to go out there and trade with. But they want successful traders because the catch of them funding you, of them essentially betting on you, is they want to go out there and they're going to get a share of your profits. You can see that profit split. It's 80-20, very favorable. So 80 in your favor, 20 in theirs. And I will also mention this is just the starter account. I know there's a lot of people in the StockTrade community who've gotten started with a starter account, have already gone on to pro and levels accounts above that are bigger, better profit splits, and more money to be able to trade with. So with this, there's some risk management rules in place as well. I know I'm going through a lot here. The risk management are in place to obviously protect Tradefunder, right? You went and you funded an account with $800. They're not just going to let you lose 25 grand. So there's a daily loss limit where they'll stop you out of a trade if you lose $1,000 on it. Okay. And then you're just done for the day. It's not a close of the account. It's just, hey, you're done for the day. And then they have the max drawdown, which was when they actually will close that account. So let's do some simple math. For $800, you get a fully funded account. And say you are the worst trader alive. you can lose $3,750. You're losing 4 times, almost 5 times as much money as you put into that account. All right. That's a game changer. Now, someone's going to say, why would they do that? Well, because if a trader, let's use me, for example, I go out there and I make $50,000 trading and I'm using a Tradefunder account, they get 20% of it. So one successful trader out there, and they want hundreds of successful traders, which is why they partnered with Stocks to Trade, because Stocks to Trade puts out great education and content like what you're watching right now to help traders really get started. So I want everyone to go click the link. Bryce, can you put the link in the chat? All right.
Sure can.
Go put that link in the chat there. What you'll see is then you can go and you can review everything. $800 plus a platform fee to get started. Honestly, Bryce and I say this every single day. If I had to go back in time, say I lost all my money, I went bankrupt, and I had to get started trading again, there's not a doubt in my mind I'd use Tradefunder to get started because it gets me above the pattern day trader rule. It then allows me to go out there and accelerate my trading, well, really minimizing my downside and just maximizing the upside. I see a couple of people talking about VWAV saying Tradefunder didn't let them trade it. It might have been just because the volume's too low. I will say you can trade essentially every stock that we've talked about on here. The only exception is sometimes when the volume's too low, all right, maybe yesterday's volume was too low, they're just going to prevent you from trading that. But again, I just reach out to their support because I do plan to trade VWAV later today. Jason says, can you short on Tradefunder? You can short. You can not short hard to borrow stocks. All right. So like super low floats. So for example, BGLC, you're not going to be able to short that thing. But easy to borrow, very straightforward. Someone says, can you trade options? You can. Tradefunder does have an account that you can use to trade options. It is a separate account from their stock trading account. So the link that we gave you is the discounts for stock trading. But they do have funded accounts for options as well. Perfect. I'm looking at the questions here. John, I'm not sure what you're referring to as the Elites program. John says, what's the success rate of the Elite program? I'm not entirely positive what you mean there, John. With trading, it's pretty straightforward. The more time and effort you put into it, the more likely you are to succeed. You know, I get asked all the time from people of like, hey, why am I not having success? And I'm like, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, I show up for like 15 minutes a day. I'm like, yeah, man, I go on a 15-minute walk every day, but I don't have a six-pack. Like, that's on me. So you got to put a little more work in.
Yeah, and Tom, they really are incredibly responsive. So if you have any type of question, shoot them a message. They will respond to you. They're great.
Support said VWAV's a new company with not enough liquidity. It is an IPO, so I mean, that does make sense. Any advice to find Tradefunder videos that are in English? Well, I think they're all in English, Jeff. I don't know where you're looking, Jeff, but I've seen Tradefunder videos. They're definitely in English. Because
again, message their support. Message their support, and they will send you something.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're American. They're a partner with T3, which is one of the largest prop trading firms in the United States. So I want everyone to go take a look at it. They're all in Spanish. Jeff, you must be on like a VPN or something, boss man.
Shoot them a message.
No habla español either. So shoot the support message. They'll take care of you. Gene says, must you trade on their platform? Yeah, you must. Given the fact that they're giving you $25,000, I think that's a very small requirement. Because they got to manage their risk. They don't want someone to just go blow up, lose all their money. John says, mine are Italian. What are you guys doing? You in Spain and Italy over here? Request the English versions. I promise you they exist. Yeah, Tactical Trading says I reached out to them. They responded via email, and they answer on the phone too, which is great. Yeah, Debbie says there are English videos, which is good. So definitely reach out to the support there. And let me know if there's any questions on Tradefunder. Jack says confirmed that they're in English too. So I don't know what rabbit hole you guys have gone down, but we'll get you straightened out here. Yeah, that's what I got to say about Tradefunder. It's really a no-brainer for me.
Max drawdown, super simple. If your account hits that drawdown, they close you out of the trade. Like they're not going to let you lose $25,000 on a trade. They'll close you out, and then you'll get to try again the next day. Very simple.
Oui.
I think I understand this question. If I'm a beginner, how come I will trade with $25,000 and I have to have a small size? Why would I even go with them? So, okay, my thought here is to what you're asking is, if you're a beginner, you first of all, if you have $25,000 of your own money, if that's what you're asking, the reason is quite simple, because now when you're with Tradefunder, your max risk is the money you put in, which is $800 plus the $99 platform fee, versus your entire $25,000 account. However, if you're asking, why would I get a $25,000 just to trade with smaller size? Again, very simple answer. So you can trade as much as you want, right? First of all, once you start getting trading down, now you can actually size up. Instead of using your $2,000 account to go all in max leverage on one trade, you could just put like half of a Tradefunder account into one trade and still be better off. And then again, number two, I'm just such a firm believer that if you want to get good at trading, you need to get experience. Would you expect to get really good at playing a sport by just watching it on TV? Probably not. You need to go in and put in the reps. So you're going to get... Tell me.
The best way to learn the game is to play the game. Do you know who said that? That's actually a trading quote from Jesse Livermore. Oh. He's like one of the best traders ever. Yeah, but he says the only way to learn the game is to play the game. And I agree.
Yeah, you can play the game taking 3 trades a week if you want. If that's like, but that, again, that's like going to basketball practice 30 minutes a day for 2 days out of the week versus going and playing 2 hours a day every day. Which one do you think you're going to get better at faster?
Exactly. Well said.
Oops, wrong one. Alan, if I lose the money they give me, can I refund my account with another $800? Yeah. Yes.
I will tell you, they're not just going to give you unlimited accounts. It's not like you can have 50 of these things. Yep. But if it happens once, it happens twice. You know, they understand you're learning. They're playing the long game here. So, yes, you can open up more than one account if that does happen.
Yep. Yeah, again, that's reason like 8,000 as to why not to just go YOLO into a trade. They don't want you to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get closed out of Tradefunder forever. It's a great deal. Be smart with your trading. You don't need to go risk $1,000 on every trade. You probably shouldn't. Just go and be smart with the way that you trade. We're here with you every day, going over what we think are the best trades of the day. And I'll be honest with you, even on days like today where it's been kind of slow, like we still have kind of only been talking about the best trades of the day. And notice we've kind of had our foot off the pedal a little bit. We get this question almost every day. You do not need to trade every day. If there's not a trade, why risk your money?
Agreed. Big facts. I know there's some more questions in the chat. I'm going to look at a couple.
Yeah.
Let's see. So a couple of, how do you trade pre-market? When you go to their platform, you just got to turn pre-market on. It's in the settings. By default, I know they just have the regular hours there. But if you turn the pre-market on, you should be good to go. And then
there's a very simple setting. It's like extended hours trading. It's labeled ETH. Again, should be an instruction video. You'll be able to see it. Very simple to do, though.
Xavier says, how long is this going to be active? Well, I have no sign of it slowing down and shutting down, but I will tell you, why wait? Why wait? Get started. You can have this account. You can place one trade a month if you want.
Here's the thing.
It's better to get started now than to wait 6 months and get started later.
Well, and too, like I hope we do this for a very long time to come. This is a great partnership. But like, what happens if you wait till the last day that link is active? Like, we're done, and then you lose that account, and it's like, oh no, I don't have that deal anymore either. You know.
I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we've got today. Your homework is to go see if Tradefunder's for you. As I told you, I think it's great for new traders. I think it's great for people just getting started. I think it's great for people who maybe are below the pattern day trader rule and they've struggled to get over it, as Bryce and I have. Honestly, it's good for good traders too. I use Tradefunder because why not? Yes, I have other accounts outside of Tradefunder, but if I can increase my income without having to risk more money, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Just an increased buying power. It's awesome.
Yeah. Do they have take profit and stop losses on the chart? They do. They've all been. Very, very simple platform to use. I'm definitely a fan of it as well. All right, folks. I appreciate you. Go take a look at that link. We've got some trades later. Watch REPL, REPL, watch VWAV. Those are the main two. We'll be back tomorrow.
Be back tomorrow. Later, guys.